Good morning, horse racing enthusiasts. Um, Today is the 19th of August. It will be day 26 at Saratoga. What I wanted to do is talk to you about how I left you yesterday and, a couple of races that I identified, or at least one race that I identified that was interesting. That was the fourth race yesterday. And if we remember, it was one that was a HCP as designated, which is a handicapped race, meaning the handicapper assigns the weights. And I made an error in my description of what that's called. I said posts, but it's called imposts, right? Imposts are the weights that are added to a horse. And back, years ago, there used to be many more of these races, and you'd have sometimes fillies running in some of the big races, or mares will have less weight. So the colts or the horses would have more imposts, if you will. So impost is the weight added to a horse. So we looked at that, and I like the 5 across the board. Long story short, it came in 2, 5. It came in yesterday 2, 5, 1, 4. So the 4 was the highest impost horse. So much for that logic. The 5, whom I liked and whom I recommended that we do, 2, 3, 5 across the board. I did 5 across the board on it. In essence, it paid 386, 6 something. My bet cost me 15. I think I grossed 16 on the bet, so it made $1 on that. Just for the record, I also did the try and boxed those 4 numbers, 5, 1, 4, 2. That was the order that I liked them in. And that try only paid 14. And of course, a 4-horse 50-cent try box would have cost me $12. So making a whopping $3 there. And I guess I would also add, although I didn't bet this, the superfecta would have also come in if I had paid that. But then that paid miserably too. That would have added a sum total of netted $1 extra to my proceeds. So not really the most outstanding day. And I guess what I want to look at somewhere down the line and over time is, how do we identify that race? And I think you probably can. Why that race wasn't a good race to bet. It was interesting from the imposts and all that in the handicapped angle, but it probably wasn't a good money-making race. Now, on the heels of that, let's look at the 9th race, which I did not identify here, and this is where I really need to go. The 9th race ran yesterday. That is it was New York Stallions Series in the 9th race yesterday. At any rate, that was a good race. I had identified that I liked the 6, 5, 2, 1 in that. And I had circled the 1 in my little handicap. And in some way, I'm going to be able to get this online, whether that's through Twitter, maybe it's through Instagram, where I send out my picks in advance so that you have them. And I'll somehow designate what I think are the best horse, the next best horse, and then the long shot. I don't always pick them in every race, but I try to identify them when I see them. So in that race, I identified the 1 in a 4th position for me, who I'd like 4th, as being a long shot. And I thought that if the race broke down up front because of speed, a lot of speed in the race, then this horse showed characteristics of being able to close and be able to close, like a deep closer kind of thing. And the horse's name is Golden Rocket. What a name. And the race unfolded pretty much how, that would have indicated. It broke down, the speed up front faded. I think it was the 5 or the 6 took an early lead. I forget exactly who it was. I mean, huge lead, maybe 10 lengths lead. And gradually they pulled them back in, and the 1 just beat him in the stretch, just with a turn of foot that was awesome. If you get a chance to watch a race today, see if you can watch that race, because that was awesome. 9th race yesterday at Saratoga. So the horse ended up paying something in the neighborhood of $63 for a $2 bet. Wow, that's huge. And the way that I bet that horse, I think I wanted to bring it up for debate here, and maybe we can talk about it, or maybe you guys can add comments. And by the way, like, subscribe, and please add comments. I want to make this a back and forth kind of thing. I love talking horses. I could do it all day long, and I would happy to engage in any comments. So at any rate, the way I chose to handle it, and I'm questioning that strategy this morning, was immediately early in the day, I did a a 1 in the ninth race and a 2 in the 10th race. I think I did a $5. Yeah, it was a $5 daily double. Not big output. I thought that it had potential, and I had enough impetus to like bet that one in a daily double, but not to do it in a win. That just kicks me. Later in the day, just as the race was about to go off, I did a 1 with the 8 in the next race. So, long story short, the daily double figures came back. If the 2 won, it would have been somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,800. If the 8 won, it would have been $2,200. I had a $10 daily double on that one. Sure enough, the 9 wins, and then we go into the 10th race, and the 2 is up front the whole way. The 8 is, third, fourth, in that range. 8 ends up fading in the stretch. The 2 is just really gutting it out, and finally gave way right at sort of at the wire, maybe a couple of strides before the wire. And so we didn't win that one. The 4, another long shot ended up winning. And you know what? I had looked at that 4 earlier and questioned it. And I didn't put it in any of the 4 in the 10th race. I didn't put it in any of my my calculations. But so the 4 won. The 4 ended up passing the 1 in like the last stride, and the 2 came in third. So one to learn. Maybe I would have been better off spending that $15 on that $63 for every $2 bet. So it would be 7 times 63. So that was in the neighborhood of almost $400. So at any rate, Monday morning quarterbacking. I wanted to identify those. Those were 2 good things for us to sort of, pave the groundwork to talk about in the future. But I wanted to go ahead and send this out as a recap, and let me know if you have any comments. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye.